Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. I love chiropractors and authors and human potential coaches and brain core certified technicians and people from every walk of life that have discovered their reason for being on this planet. And that's why I love Dr. Jackie Kilraine. She's all of those things and the CEO of Expressing Optima, where she's dedicated to helping her clients tap into and express their optimal health and well-being. Hey, Jackie, welcome to the Something Significant Show.
Hey, Matt, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Oh, we're excited to have you. So just tell us, what are you doing these days to leave your mark of significance on the world?
I help women rediscover their unique joy in life. We take people from where they are to expressing their optimal best, usually rediscovering themselves. I work with a lot of women in my practice, and we really work on helping them rediscover their joy and their passion and themselves so they can go out and serve even in a better place. Lots of times we find a lot of women in our practice are taking care of everyone else, and they've given away so many pieces of themselves that they don't even know who they are anymore. So we help them rediscover who they are and their joy in life. And really we help them find their perfect day, to just rediscover their very perfect day so they can live their perfect life. That's what we do. I love it.
I love it. Okay, well, take us back a few years to the fall of 2017. What I want to know is, what was the catalyst for, I know you've been a chiropractor for a long time, but what was the catalyst for launching your company, Expressing Optimism, and specifically for focusing on optimizing women's health, wealth, and well-being?
You know, it started a long time before that. I had my very first fibromyalgia patient come into my office. I remember her saying that she had lower back pain, and I adjusted her like I adjust lots of my patients with low back pain. And I said, "Do you feel better?" And she said, "No, I do not. I think I even feel worse." And I was like, oh, and she was someone I felt like I could pick up and I could carry to every room. She felt so bad. So she started me on this journey of trying to rediscover why this person had this widespread pain that just didn't get better. And I've learned so much from her over the years. And we kept adding different things, learning more and more about centralized pain. And then we discovered, I was actually listening to a podcast, and I heard an anesthesiologist say, we have to turn down the volume of the pain in the brain. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. So I walked into my office the very next day. On the table, there was a periodical. I opened it up. It was an advertisement for Neurofeedback. And I knew the doctor that owned the company. And I called him up and I said, "Hey, Guy," his name is Guy. I said, "I need this." I got certified that next weekend, and we started doing it, and it was life-changing. Patients started coming in that were doing it, who had been treating for chronic pain and fibromyalgia. They said, "You know, I'm not depressed anymore. I'm going to ask my doctor if I can get off my anxiety medication." And I'm like, "I didn't know you were on anxiety medication," because I wasn't treating the body as a whole system. So when we started doing that, treating their brain and their body, we just kept getting deeper and deeper into very personalized, very specific care. They just got better and beyond. And that's what it was all about. I felt like, even though I was a chiropractor and doing some natural things, I was still putting a Band-Aid on their pain. And I was still treating them through my little telescope of your back pain. And I didn't treat anxiety, and I just optimized the system. So Expressing Optima comes from Optimus being of Jupiter and the greatest, and Optima is feminine for that. And it's just expressing your very best. So Expressing Optima comes from helping these women really reach new levels.
And chiropractic's about the system, and you took it beyond just the human system to the life system.
Yeah, to the whole life system. And I quit trying to, we have a, chiropractic has a philosophy, we're working with readjusting and helping the nervous system, but we still weren't really, we were kind of leaving from here up alone. And I had to step back and look at the patient as a person and a whole system, and not just back pain, or not just, because by the time they would come to me with the centralized pain and the fibromyalgia and the chronic problems, they had a multitude of things that really all went together. So they would have these depression, anxiety, autoimmune conditions. And when you keep assaulting your nervous system like that, this is what develops. So we really give them hope to understand that you don't have multiple things wrong with you. We just need to help your system optimize and heal. So fun, lots and lots of fun.
Very good. Okay, so let's go forward about 50 years or so.
Okay.
I know that you're part of a group that truly believes that human beings can look, feel, and live optimized.
Yes.
For 120 years or more. So
Yes.
just give us a minute
Yes.
on describing how you'll be impacting the world, let's say in 2070.
Yes. Yes. I think so much of that is going to technology and medicine have just come together, and we're just learning how to almost undo a lot of things that we've been doing for decades that we thought was okay until it finally catches up to us. There's just about a year, I think I lectured on this about a year and a half. The last year is a little bit of a blur, but it was probably at the beginning of that year where Georgia Tech, Emory, and MIT is using light and sound frequencies to treat Alzheimer's disease and beta amyloid plaques. And there's just so much optimization that we can do with brain function. I don't even think we're going to be thinking about disease. I think we're just going to be thinking about imagining where we want to go and what we want to do. And we're, I think good health is easy. Good health should not be hard. It shouldn't need a whole lot of work. But now we understand treating the whole system, and just with technology there too, and things like peptides and things like individualized precision-based care where I can get down and look at your DNA and look at your QEEG and see in real time what's going on with you and where we need to make a little tweak here and a little tweak there, and you're just living your very best life. Yeah.
It's going to be fun, folks. It's going to be happy living.
Yes, indeed. It's very happy.
So, Jackie, I define significance as doing things you love, in places you love, with people you love, and creating something of value to others. So it's doing and it's giving. But to be a giver, you need excess capacity in your life. So the question is, what are your personal practices, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, financial? What do you do to create the capacity you need to take care of yourself and to then have more to give to others?
Yes. Well, I live what I do in my office. And it starts with simple things like in the morning, I keep a gratitude journal. I write I don't even get out of bed. I don't turn any media on. I don't do anything, but I sit there and visualize and write down and say out loud what I'm really, really grateful for. And I really live my joy every day. I leave behind what doesn't serve me anymore, what doesn't make me happy. I'm not waiting until I retire or, I move to the beach to really be happy. I make sure I live it every day. If it doesn't serve me, I don't do it. Before I go to bed, I imagine my very perfect day. I know that when I go to sleep, my theta brainwaves convert my short-term memory into long-term memory, and my brain doesn't know the difference between what I vividly imagine and what's really true. And I get my ego out of the way. I used to do this in the morning thinking I had the power just to muscle it in there. Now I'm just going to let my brain do it. I'm just going to vividly imagine what my very perfect day would be, and my theta, my gamma brainwaves, my brain just does all that work while I sleep. And I end up finding those things the next day, the next week, because that's what our nervous system does. It goes out there and it looks, and the universe helps it show up. Awesome. So that's it.
I've been saying for quite some time now that the single fastest way to feel better, to be happier in your life, is to stop doing things or hanging around people that make you feel bad.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
It's so easy.
Not easy. It's simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Very good. Well, awesome, Jackie. Well, let's take a commercial break because I have 3 things that I want to tell everyone. Number 1, about a super cool company called Dry Farm Wines. Number 2, how they deliver chemical-free, sugar-free, health-certified wines right to your door. And number 3, how every purchase that you make during the entire month of March will support a great big donation to WITV7. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Dry Farm Wines. I first met the man known as the healthiest wino on earth back in 2016. He claimed Dry Farm Wines don't cause headaches or hangovers, and that he started his company because 99% of wine consumed in the U.S. is highly processed and loaded with nasties. Like most processed food, it's toxic. That very night, I made a big health decision. Toxic wines out, natural wines in. It's been nearly 5 years since I made the switch, and I feel great. Go to happyliving.com, select Partners in Happy, and get your first bottle of natural wine for 1 penny. And I'll donate 8% of every order placed for the entire month of March to WITV7. So share the gift of natural wine with a friend. It'll make you both happy. Okay, we're back, and this is the Something Significant show, and I'm Matt Gersper. Hey friends, do yourself a great big health favor. If you do drink wine like I do, make sure it's toxin and chemical free. Dry Farm wines are so natural and so deliciously clean, they don't cause headaches or hangovers. I love opening a bottle and sharing it with a friend. And now let's get back to my wonderful guest, Dr. Jackie Kilraine. Her business, Expressing Optima, specializes in precision health solutions by offering cutting-edge, evidence-based genomics, epigenetics, and neurotherapies that restore health and function to your brain, your body, and your life so you can heal, thrive, and optimize. Oh, I love that. So, Jackie, in my second book, Turning the Inspiration into Action, I explore the big idea that transformations or discovery of purpose often come from devastation. Yeah. Addictions, disease, death, disaster, some big crisis shakes your life. But I've used a happier way and created transformations in my life with inspiration. So was there a specific moment or a situation when either devastation or inspiration revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
Absolutely. So in 2013, my husband died. And it was a year after that year anniversary, I really fell apart. You know, I worked the year he died, I worked so hard. You have 3 kids? I have 3 boys.
How old were the kids?
So the kids one was in college. The youngest was 11, and my middle son was 13. 3 boys. I have 3 boys. So that year anniversary, I really fell apart. It hit me so hard. I'd always been a little anxious, you know, and now I recognize it. I thought, oh, you just overthink things. You're just a doctor and you just, you know, overanalyze everything. I was really anxious and I would talk myself out of everything. But that year anniversary hit me so hard. I felt discombobulated. I felt like I couldn't think. I remember talking to my brother-in-law at the time then, and he said, Jackie, why don't you work 1 more year and then just quit and move out to California where your brother lives? And I said, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work 1 more year in the practice that I'd always loved. And then I'm going to quit. And then I'm going to move to California, take my 2 kids out of middle school, leave my son in college here. and go to live in California where my brother lives in a monastery. I'm like, okay, that makes perfect sense. At the time, it made such perfect sense. I mean, it did make perfect sense, but it was an escape. I could run away. Still, even at that time, I didn't understand. I called my brother-in-law up again. My sister-in-law is an MD. I said, who, she's a pediatrician. I said, who does Angie send you to? I need this doctor. I need help. Put me on an antidepressant. I was on it for like a week. I couldn't stand it. Had my neurofeedback equipment, still didn't realize that I needed it. I didn't have chronic pain. That's why I got it. But nothing goes through my office that I don't do first. So I started doing neurofeedback on me just to make sure it was okay to put on my patients, saved my life, transformed my life, I look at everything in my life that I experienced pre and post my brain training, because I'm a different person. And now, and I think if I wouldn't have gone through what I went through, I wouldn't be where I am today. This was what needed to happen. It was, I'm happier now than I ever was, and I'm just a different person. So
how did the death of your husband and the brain training, why was it important that those two things happened together? What if he hadn't died and you went through the brain training anyways to test it? Would it have been a different result?
That's a good point. I don't know that it would have happened. I guess that's interesting, because I hadn't thought about that. I'm pretty black and white. This is what happened, and this is how it went. I didn't think about, of course, I wish he hadn't died. I wish he was still here. But I think I had to grow, and I had to transform, and I had to rediscover me. Part of my program for a lot of women in my office is called Rediscovering You, because I didn't know what I wanted. I wanted what was okay with him. I wanted what was okay with my patients. I wanted what was okay for my kids. I didn't know what I wanted. I had to go make a decision all by myself. Even though I'm a doctor running a practice for 25 years, I had to go make a decision. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to ask. So I took all my beliefs like in a bag, and I dumped them out on the floor, and I said, this still serves me. That doesn't serve me. This still serves me. That doesn't serve me. If it served me, I kept it up, and I kept it.
What was the catalyst that one day you weren't doing that, and then the next day you were doing that, and you changed the trajectory of your life? Can you think of a moment?
Well, I think it was the brain training for sure, because
what did that do?
The neurofeedback, it removes the dysregulated brainwave patterns, and it helps. So we see life through all these traumas that we've been through. So that's the lens that I was living my life through. And that 1 year anniversary was, the straw that broke the camel's back for me. And neurofeedback just removes those removes those, I don't have to see, clears that lens off. It clears that window so you can see and respond to your environment like you should. Like, I quit over responding to everything that happened to me. Things don't need for me to be thinking about constantly. I couldn't sleep at night, so I would turn the TV on to drown out what I was hearing in my head so I could sleep. And usually it was the news, of all things, that I had on. That's how crazy what I was doing. But once, I don't have to do that anymore. And now I don't overthink everything, that the neurofeedback changed how I responded. And I said, I was doing it the old way forever. If I needed to go back to it, I still know how to do it that way. So I'm not afraid to go try something new. I'm not afraid to experience something new. I'm not afraid to do new things, because I know the old way pretty well. But I never went back. You don't go back. No. Yeah. So it's life changing, and that's what we do for our women too. There's so many of them are chronically ill, and it all relates back to trauma. We have another program called the Free Brain Initiative that we're just getting started, where we're helping women who've been abused, or people who've been in and out of prison, or their families have, to help remove some of that old programming, epigenetic laid down, anxiousness, overthinking, trauma, to help them rewire and change their life.
Awesome. So the discovery of purpose was discovering what? Discovering you?
Discovering me. Discovering me. Yeah, so I think we all have our own unique joy and talent that we need to bring to everybody else. I don't want you to be like me or anybody else. I want you to figure out what you want. So that's part of our imagining your perfect days. What would really bring you joy every day? And let's start doing that. And my kids would say to me, Mom, you're not, I said, gosh, I'm so much better than I was. They said, yeah. My one middle son, sweetest kid, he said, yeah, Mom, you don't get angry.
Yeah.
That almost makes me cry every time because I thought, angry? Do I get angry?
Yeah, right.
But
That's good. Okay, so we talked about capacity and purpose.
Okay.
And combine those two, the sky's the limit.
For sure.
Or as I like to say, capacity plus purpose equals happy, and I call it the happy formula. But I know the real magic of life comes from that fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value to others.
Yeah.
So how has doing work that creates value to others brought joy and magic into your life? And in other words, how does it feel when a client comes to you suffering from illness and maybe feeling overwhelmed with life, and you help them in some way to achieve health and life results that they didn't believe possible?
Yeah.
What does that do to you?
Then there's nothing better. We do a lot of hugging and a lot of crying in this office because it's just so joyful. It's just so joyful. It's, you never want to stop doing what you do because everybody has a need, and we all have a need to fulfill. And when you find yours and it's just your joy every day. So when I see because I personally experienced it too. And I know that they can, and I've been where a lot of them are. And it's like a flower just opening up and seeing that every day is just joyful. I love it.
I was talking with one of the, maybe the last guest. She was awesome. And we were talking about this very subject. And so why does it feel so good? If somebody reads one of my books and they say it changed their lives, and they say, oh my God, that feels so fantastic. But if I recommend a restaurant and you went to the restaurant and said, oh, the restaurant was really great, Matt, thank you, I wouldn't say, oh my God, I feel so fantastic. Right. And I think it's because when you find your authentic self and you give that to somebody and it helps them, that's what I think it is.
Definitely.
That's what magic is.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think when you know how good you feel and you can help someone else feel that good too, and then they can spread that joy, it's just a better world. It's just a ripple effect for sure in the pond of our lives. I love it.
Very good. Great stuff. Okay, let's wrap things up with the lightning round.
Okay.
I'll read one of my favorite quotes, a few of them, and you just respond telling us what it means to you.
Okay.
30 or 45 seconds for each. This is from comedian Aries Spears, and she says, to sustain longevity, you have to evolve.
Definitely. You have to change. Just like I think it was Lou Holtz, you're either changing or you're dying. So I'm not afraid of change. I love change. I know, it's the only way to move forward. So absolutely love that.
Good. From Heraclitus, I got to work on my Greek. Heraclitus. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same man, and it's not the same river, and he's not the same man.
Yeah, right. Because
the old gender stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're always, hopefully that's always the case because we're always changing. If we're staying still and not learning, again, we're not growing. So I always try to be sure I don't say, I already know about that. I already know that, because then you just get in the way of your own evolution and your own. So it kind of reminds me of that quote. I things that I know about, I know there's always more I can learn. And when I'm learning, I'm growing, and people know you just have to keep evolving and keep learning and not get in your own way. I think that's where I would get before. I'm like, I already know that. I don't need to listen on that. I'm gonna, so yeah.
And the thing about life changing too, the river changing, right? So how I viewed the world and experienced life when I was 20 is very different from where I am now at 60, just about.
Yeah, thank goodness. I agree,
yes,
right?
yes.
That's
Okay, from Helen Keller. Security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature.
Security is mostly a superstition. It doesn't exist. Well, that's interesting. I believe that, and lots of times it's based in fear, and it just, our brain, I see that in the brain work that we do, because your brain's really designed just to keep you safe. And that's where it just keeps those things that it's learned and that trauma, and it's going to say, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be on this hyper state of alert. I see how that, it's definitely, it may serve you to make you survive and get up the next day, but that does not make you happy. I think you would agree with that. So, yeah, for sure. Agree with that.
Okay, last one from Goth. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Don't wait. There's no reason to wait. Just like I said, you can always go back to what you've been doing, because you know how to do that real well. Just start now, take a step forward, take a chance. No one's really going to notice if you don't do it right. Just go ahead and do it.
Boy, that's some wisdom right there. We always worry about what other people are going to say. And most of the time, nobody notices anything you're doing.
Absolutely. They're not paying attention to you at all.
I love that. Okay, Jackie, well, you've been a delight, but now our time's coming to an end. So just take a minute or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience.
I just want to leave with them hope and joy, and to just keep moving forward and just keep living your very best day every day. And then that's going to turn into your very best life.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, and now, folks, I'm calling on you to give a little love. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Dr. Jackie Kilraine, please donate what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Jackie, I love your message of health simplified and life optimized. And I'm really inspired by your amazing chapter in Codes of Longevity about the coherence of gratitude. I hope everyone listening will read it to increase their lifespan, feel happier and more joyful, and sleep better, and boost their immunity too, all from gratitude. So thank you, Jackie, for putting such amazing, optimistic, and loving energy out into the world with all that you do. And thanks for sharing your voice here and lifting our spirits today.
Well, thank you. It was a joy to be here. Thanks for having me, Matt.
Awesome. And thank you, WITV7, for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep reaching folks out there ready to create their own extraordinary lives. A special thank you to our sponsors for the month of March, Dry Farm Wines and Happy Living. Remember, I'll donate 8% of every purchase that you make for the entire month to WITV7. So tell all your friends too. Just go to happyliving.com, select Partners in Happy, and shop Dry Farm Wines. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Jackie Kilraine. Find her, friend her, buy our book, Codes of Longevity, in which both Jackie and I and other authors have written chapters about how you can unlock your potential to look, feel, and live life optimized. Or schedule, and schedule a complimentary consult with Dr. Jackie to learn how her approach to your health is biospecific to you. She takes a really different approach so that you can achieve results like you've never experienced before. And from me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be happy. We do what we do on the Something Significant show to inspire you to live life to its fullest, to believe as I do that a better self is always possible today and every day for the rest of our lives. It's time to be bold. If you're dreaming about it, then get on with it, for it's there on your special path, the one to your dream, your unique and distinctive journey. That's where you'll discover the way to make your mark of significance on the world. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome, and this is the Something Significant show. and we're out.